Hey there, I'm Sundeep August. Welcome to the Sundeep August Show. Today, I want to talk about something really important. Why we need animals more than they need us. Animals are more than just fellow planet dwellers. They're essential to our survival and the planet's well-being. So, let's dive right into it. You're getting started on the Sundeep August Show. Firstly, let's talk about the negative effects of consuming meat on our bodies. Research has indicated that consuming an excessive amount of meat could lead to heart disease, obesity, and even some types of cancer. According to a study published in the journal Cancer Epidemiology, Biomarkers and Prevention, those who consumed the most red meat had a 20% greater risk of colorectal cancer than those who consumed the least. After skin cancer and breast cancer, colorectal cancer is the third most frequent cancer in both men and women in the United States. It is also the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States after lung cancer. And if you're talking about processed meat, that's a whole other can of worms. The World Health Organization, WHO, classifies processed meats as Group 1 carcinogens, indicating that they are carcinogenic to humans. Meat, particularly red and processed meats, is typically high in saturated fats and cholesterol, which can contribute to the development of cardiovascular disease. Get this. Antibiotics are mostly employed in cattle production in the United States, not in the treatment of human diseases. About 80% of all antibiotics sold in the United States are used in agriculture, predominantly to promote animal growth and prevent diseases in animals. A high intake of saturated fats can increase levels of low-density lipoprotein LDL cholesterol, which increases the risk of cardiovascular disease. A large study published in the journal Obesity found that people who ate the most red meat had a 22% higher risk of being obese than those who ate the least. By reducing our meat intake or adopting a plant-based diet, we can improve our overall well-being and live healthier lives. Keep in mind, it's not just about us. It's also about the planet. Meat production contributes significantly to greenhouse gas emissions, deforestation, and water pollution. Livestock farming requires a huge amount of resources like land, water, and feed. Beef production is one of the largest contributors to greenhouse gas emissions in the meat industry. Significant amounts of methane are released during the breakdown of manure and enteric fermentation in the stomachs of cattle. Just a little bit about what enteric fermentation is. Enteric fermentation is the process by which microbes in the digestive tract of animals break down carbohydrates into simple molecules for absorption into the bloodstream of the animal. The process is most important in cattle, sheep, and goats, which have a specialized stomach called the rumen that is specifically designed for enteric fermentation. Back to the carbon footprint. An estimated 60 kilos of CO2 equivalent emissions are produced for every kilogram of beef produced. Lamb and sheep production also generates substantial methane emissions. They produce about 25 kilograms of CO2 equivalent emissions per kilogram of meat. The Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, of the United Nations estimates that 14.5% of all greenhouse gas emissions caused by humans are attributable to the global livestock industry, which of course includes the production of meat. You're listening to the Sundeep Show. Plant-based agriculture generally produces significantly fewer greenhouse gas emissions compared to meat-based agriculture. The difference in emissions is primarily attributable to the lower energy and resource inputs required to produce plant-based foods compared to animal agriculture. Plant-based agriculture generally has a smaller carbon footprint per calorie or gram of protein produced. According to a study published in the journal Science, the production of animal-based foods is responsible for 14.5% of global greenhouse gas emissions, and that is more than the emissions from all transportation combined. The production of plant-based foods, on the other hand, is responsible for only 2.6% of global greenhouse gas emissions. A carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gas emissions caused by an individual, organization, event, or product, both directly and indirectly. It is determined by adding up all of the emissions that occur during the lifetime of a product or service, that is, including the production of the raw materials, the manufacturing process, actual use, and disposal. To give you a very brief elementary perspective in terms of the carbon footprint between plant-based and meat-based foods, listen to this. Beef has a carbon footprint of 60 kilos. In simple terms, 60 kilos of bad gas for 1 kilo of beef. Compared to that, tofu has a carbon footprint of 1.6 kilos. That is 1.6 kilos of bad gas for 1 kilo of tofu. Lamb has a carbon footprint of 40 kilos. Compared to that, beans give out about 0.4 kilos of CO2 emissions per kilo of beans. You get the idea. Not gonna go deep on this, just know this: vegan meals always have the least effect on the world. The environmental effect of meat-based meals is 14 times greater than that of plant-based ones. Vegetarian food has 3 times the environmental impact of vegan food. In case you're wondering, here it is. The reason why carbon dioxide is measured in kilograms is because it is a greenhouse gas and has mass or weight here on Earth. Despite appearing weightless, carbon dioxide has weight. Hence, its mass can be expressed in kilograms. There are essentially 2 reasons why vegan food has a lower carbon footprint. First off, compared to the production of plant-based foods, the production of meat uses more land and water. Second, meat production emits more methane, a greenhouse gas that is 25 times stronger than carbon dioxide. Why we should be concerned about our carbon footprint? Well, given that our carbon footprint plays a significant role in climate change, we ought to be concerned about it. Climate change poses a significant threat to our world and way of life. Extreme weather events, such as heat waves, floods, and wildfires, are already becoming more and more common. And add to that, people's desire to control and kill other species, that's like adding fuel to a fire. Climate change is also causing sea levels to rise, which is threatening coastal communities around the world. The Earth warms as a result of greenhouse gases trapping heat in the atmosphere. By consuming less meat, we can contribute to the fight against climate change and environmental protection. This is the Sundeep Show. The endangerment or extinction of a species disrupts the delicate balance of our ecosystems. This can have negative consequences on the planet as a whole. Biodiversity is crucial for maintaining healthy ecosystems and ensuring the survival of other species, including ourselves. Animals provide stability in food webs. Biodiversity is crucial for the stability of food webs. When there are a wide variety of species present in an ecosystem, there are also a wide variety of food sources for the organisms that live there. This lowers the risk of population crashes occurring when a specific type of prey or food source becomes scarce. This stability helps maintain the balance of predator-prey relationships. For example, the deer are prey for wolves. Without wolves, deer numbers would grow uncontrollably, perhaps overgrazing plants and harming ecosystems. Animals are crucial in nutrient cycling. Species contribute to nutrient cycling, which is the movement of nutrients throughout an ecosystem. Plants take up nutrients from the soil, and then animals eat the plants and return the nutrients to the soil through their waste. There is something called as bioturbation. Bioturbation is the mechanical mixing and disturbance of soils and sediments by organisms, typically burrowing animals such as earthworms, insects, and other invertebrates. Bioturbation can have several impacts on land, oxygen levels, and human beings. Earthworms are one of the most important bioturbators in the soil. They mix and aerate the soil, improve drainage, and make nutrients more available to plants. Earthworms also help to break down organic matter, which can improve soil fertility. Marine organisms such as crabs and shellfish help to mix and aerate marine sediments. They also help to remove pollutants from the sediments. Even annoying insects like cockroaches serve a purpose in the balance of our ecosystem. As scavengers, cockroaches consume a broad range of organic materials, such as dead animals and decomposing plant stuff. They help break down and recycle nutrients in ecosystems by consuming and digesting decomposing organic matter, which is essential for nutrient cycling. Cockroaches can serve as indicators of environmental conditions. If they are present or absent in certain areas, it can tell us something about the health and quality of the habitat. Their sensitivity to temperature and humidity changes, for example, makes them useful in studying the effects of climate change on insect populations. Cockroaches serve as a food source for many other animals, such as birds, amphibians, reptiles, and even some other mammals. Thank God someone's gotta eat them. Can you imagine a situation like Joe's apartment? Several insect-eating species consume them, which helps maintain the dynamics of the food web and energy flow in ecosystems. This relates to what I mentioned earlier regarding food web stability. Every one of them is related. So, how can we protect animals and make a positive impact? It starts with treating animals with compassion and empathy. Whether it's adopting a plant-based diet or supporting organizations that work towards animal conservation, every small action counts. Reduce your consumption of meat and other animal products. Animal welfare and the environment are severely harmed by the manufacturing of animal products. By reducing your consumption of these products, you can help to reduce this impact. Choose sustainable and ethical products. When you shop, Seek out products that are produced in a way that respects animal welfare and are made with ethical and sustainable materials. Support animal welfare organizations. There are many organizations working to protect animals and promote animal welfare. You can support these organizations by donating your time or money, or even just being a good Samaritan and spreading the good word. When it comes to having a pet, please don't shop, rescue. Adopt a pet from a shelter or rescue organization. Don't buy love. Rescue it. Adopt it. And don't do the nasty thing of paying for a pet and then calling it adopting. That is a sickening move. Giving a homeless animal a loving home and contributing to the decrease of animals in shelters are two benefits of rescue. Neuter your pet. This will help to prevent unwanted litters and reduce the number of animals that end up in shelters. Do not allow your pet to roam outside without supervision. Pets are like babies, forever babies. This will protect them from predators, diseases, and accidents. Provide your pet with plenty of food, water, and exercise. We also have the ability to educate people about the significance of biodiversity and the critical nature of preserving endangered species. We can inspire change and make a difference by educating ourselves and others. You're listening to the Sundeep August Show. Always keep in mind that animals are not merely here for the purpose of our consumption or entertainment. They're essential to our planet and our well-being. Let's show them the love and respect they deserve. They are showing us the love and respect we deserve, or rather we have demanded, by letting us be humans. As humans, we must never forget that we are animals first. As humans, we must never forget that our primary responsibility is to protect and safeguard everything in our environment. If we cannot protect them, the least we can do is to not mess with them to a point where we end up getting messed up. Humans are not selfless, come on. That's the sad reality. On that note, if not for them, the animals, at least for our selfish existence, let us protect them so that we can protect us from our self-paved path to extinction. All right, that's all we have for today. I am Sundeep August. This is the Sundeep August Show. I hope we start looking at animals a little differently and give them the space and respect they very, very much need. We have hurt them real bad just because we can. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't have to be that way. I hope we change. I sincerely pray that we change. Thank you for being here. I'll be back soon. Until the next, may we find wisdom and peace in us to give our fellow species the peace they need. Thank you. This is the Sundeep August Show.